For more on these talks, we now cross to our reporter, Phil Ihaza in Abuja. Good afternoon, Phil. U.S. Secretary of State says Washington will do things differently. What has he said?
Well, thank you. Indeed, we just left the ECOWAS headquarters here in Abuja, where we witnessed live the meeting, or rather the speech that was rendered by the U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, on the U.S.-Africa policy, where, of course, like you said, he mentioned quite a number of things. One of the key points or talking points is the fact that this visit represents or has achieved an agreement that is worth $2.1 billion. It's a form of support from by the U.S. government to help, improve various aspects of Nigeria's economy in terms of the health sector, the education sector, and a whole couple of others, including insecurity, of course, which the country is faced with, and like you said, infrastructure, because the U.S. says that infrastructure is very key to attaining a high level of social development, socio-economic development, and of course, better the livelihood of the over 200 million people in Nigeria.
Now, talk to us about the relations between Nigeria and the U.S. I mean, interestingly, Blinken mentioning the fact that, infrastructure has been funded for the longest time and other things by China, but that the funding now is not really about China.
Well, we've seen this kinds of body language, not just in the current Biden administration, but in the previous one by the previous administration of Donald Trump, where the body language was that they were trying to reduce, or rather do more than China is doing currently in Africa, and that's the reason that, or that may be the reason why the U.S. Secretary of State is saying that this time it's not really about competition, is not really about taking cognizance of what China or other developed nations are doing in Nigeria, in Africa, but it's about strengthening over 60 years, that's over 6 decades of strong relationships and ties between U.S. and Nigeria. And so that's the focus. He's saying that the new administration of Biden is not going to look at, what other developed nations are doing, but they're going to focus on developing infrastructure without any, developing infrastructure that actually has the interest of both, parties, that's the U.S. and, of course, Nigeria, without any underlying tone.
The West has always been accused of paying lip service when it comes to such discussions. How has the U.S. Secretary of State been, met in Nigeria, and his utterances, how have they been received?
Well, there's been a lot of excitement because it's been a kind of anticipation. Remember that this visit was supposed to take place in August. The last time, or the first time rather, that he visited the country was in April, but that was virtually. And so he was supposed to visit Nigeria in August, but for some reasons that didn't hold as scheduled. And so there was quite a number of anticipation, excitement, especially among young people, technocrats. I recall that the U.S., since the new administration, of course, has supported Nigeria in diverse ways. For example, they supported the candidacy of the first ever female and African leader of the World Trade Organization. That's the Nigerian Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. So yes, indeed, there was some level of excitement. And of course, he arrived in the country from Kenya on Thursday. He was also he actually met the president at the presidential villa. He also met with the foreign minister, that's Geoffrey Onyema. That was after meeting the president and vice president. And so, making that speech today now climaxed his meeting. And it was not just about Nigeria, of course. It was talking about Africa, especially the eastern part of the country, eastern part of the continent, facing quite a number of political instability. He also will be visiting Senegal, where he'll wrap up his three-nation tour.
All right, Phil Ihaza, thank you so much for your time coming to us live there from Abuja. Of course, we are tracking various stories for you.